Hello, welcome to a new series called Habit Hacking Weekly. I am so glad you are here joining me, watching this replay, or joining us live on Instagram. I'm wondering if, whenever anyone asks you how you're doing, if you say, I'm so busy, or if you find yourself in a place and time right now where food boredom is, you're tired of eating the same things. Well, that is the theme for the week. So if we haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Emily Nichols. I am the host of the Self Transformed podcast. I help busy working moms in particular habit hack their health in less time and guilt free. The show is one of the top 1.5% podcasts in the nation with over 200,000 downloads. And as a habit and fitness coach, I want to bring you a timely, quick tip through habit hacking weekly via video, because I know everyone learns a little bit differently as far as what we talked about on the show. So we dropped 2 new episodes a week. This week, we talked in episode 189 with Leah Remillet from, don't you love that name? Leah Remillet from the Balancing Busy podcast. And I'm going to kind of just share the cliff notes with you. If you listen to the show, you know, whenever I bring a guest on, I share my 3 biggest takeaways. Well, this is your Cliff Notes version of this episode, but make sure to go to listen to Self Transformed in your favorite podcast streaming app. And if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, make sure to leave a review because it helps more women find the show. So let's talk about balancing busy and using the word busy. My 3 biggest takeaways that I want you to take from this episode and this interview with Leah is that you have a choice. Right? You have a choice. The power and the ball is in your court, if you will. I can't believe I'm using a sports reference. If you know me, you know me. That's not really me. But the ball is in your court. Okay. So when we're thinking about the busyness of our lives, you know, you're managing work, you're managing your home, you're managing your kids. You're like, where is my husband going? Is he going out of town? Is he doing this? What is life? Well, you know, I have to get this birthday present for this person. I have to make sure I send out this bill or to pay this doctor. There's a lot of different things happening in our head. But what you have a choice about is how you feel about that busyness. Because let's face it, life ain't going to slow down, right? We're always going to be busy. But you have a choice to let that busyness either feel frantic or your life just feels fulfilled. And there's a few ways to do that. We talked about some habits on the show as far as asking for help, setting some boundaries, really going into saying no to things that no longer serve you. But we want you to think about replacing the term busy with something else. I do this all the time personally, and I'm trying really hard not to do this. Have you ever had a friend ask you, like, oh, how are you? How are you right now? And they're like, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm managing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this, blah, 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 blah. And it never really has to do with them. It's all the other people they're managing, right? Let me know on Instagram if you ever say, I'm so busy, or you hear from someone else and they're always, and you say it too, right? There's 2 ways to do this. So I want you to think of the term busy as like a 4-letter word now. It's like a naughty word, if you will, and stop saying I'm so busy when people ask you how you're doing. Instead, say, I'm so excited about ABC, or I'm really, excited about this upcoming project. Or, you could even, if you kind of ease off of it, kind of detox yourself off the way of saying you're busy. You're like, I'm really busy, but I'm feeling really fulfilled by this in my life. Yes. Oh my gosh, we hear that all the time, don't we, my friends? Yes, they're commenting on Instagram. They're saying busy all the time. I do it all the time. So I really want you to change that habit, because what that is, it's a habit. And I love talking about habit strategy. So your big takeaway from today, replace the word busy and practice saying it out loud. So the next time someone asks you, hey, how are you? You pause. That's your new habit, is just to pause and just say, I'm really excited about this, or like, I'm doing really well. And just leave it at that. Just say, I'm doing really well. Because I feel like what we're doing is we're manifesting, and the busyness is just festering. And that's why it feels so frantic. If we are taking control of that busyness, it feels a lot more fulfilled versus frantic. Okay, but make sure to go listen to 189. Leah leaves a ton of nuggets of wisdom for us and really helps you feel empowered as far as balancing busy. And what your busy looks like looks different from mine, and what balance feels like to you feels different from me. And there's different pieces of that pie or that puzzle that are different sizes and shapes in different seasons of your life. But I want you to practice to not say you're busy, but to say something else. Create a habit from now on. Have me in the back of your head when someone asks you, how are you? You say, I am doing really well. And just leave it at that. I don't want you to keep festering in the busyness of life. So let's talk about today's episode as well. Every Thursday, we do a habit hack episode, and I teach on 3 fundamental needs just so we're not so confused as far as what we're supposed to be doing with our health, right? Because health is super confusing because honestly, diet culture BS is what I call it, has confused us. We think we need to be doing all these things. But I teach on 3 fundamental needs: food freedom, mindset, and movement. And you'll see each week on our Thursday, those are a lot quicker episodes, a lot shorter. There's a habit hack. And this week it's around food freedom. And I was thinking about food boredom. I know a lot of folks were at the end of, we are into a new month. I know a lot of folks did the January Whole 30. I am a previous advanced Whole 30 certified coach. And we talked a lot about food boredom when I was going through my certification process, when I was going through the Whole 30. But regardless if you're doing the Whole 30 or not, I feel like we find ourselves in a rut sometimes and just kind of on autopilot as far as what we're making for dinner each week. I know that happens to me because I'm a creature of habit, of course, and I like to make a lot of the same things because it's easy, right? If we have to make one more decision, oh my gosh, don't you hate it when someone asks you what's for dinner sometimes? Let me know in the comments on Instagram. It always makes my palms sweat when my boys ask me what's for dinner. I'm like, oh my gosh. But sometimes I get in a rut of making the same things. And gradually over time, you'll eventually find yourself getting tired or bored of the same foods that you're eating. And then you might create a new habit of maybe turning to more convenient foods that maybe aren't so healthy for you because it's easier, right? When we're trying to do a new habit, it takes brain power. And I don't know about you, but I got a lot of tabs open in my head. So when we're thinking about, okay, I really want to change up what we're eating, or if your kids are like, Mom, we're eating the same thing every week. I mean, I've heard that from my boys before too. Check out today's habit hack episode, all around 10 tips to help you overcome food freedom. That is the habit hack episode on February 2nd, which is today as we're recording this. But I share 10 tips. Let me share my 3 biggest tips for you to make this a little bit easier. So number 1, spice it up or use different sauces. If you find yourself eating a lot of the same things, turn to your spice cabinet, or next time you're placing a grocery order or you're going down the grocery aisle with all of the spices and sauces, get some different ones that you haven't used before and mix it up. Get a little spicy or a little saucy and see how that kind of awakens your taste buds a little bit more and helps you more excited to create a meal and eat a meal. Number 2, this is something I personally did last year. I got in a rut of cooking the same things, and there's certain seasons of life where our family is very busy, like sports seasons for my kids, and I was getting meal kit deliveries every other week. So they'd come in the bags. It would have the instruction as far as step 1 to do this with the chicken, to do this with the veggies, to preheat the oven, and it had all the ingredients there. And it was like, I don't have to think about it. I just follow this process to create a meal. And it was so easy. And really over time, what it did, it helped inspired me to create those type of meals for me at home, because maybe I didn't like the sauces they were using, or it had too much added sugar and I'd rather make my own sauce, for example. It really helped invigorate me. And plus it was really easy. Number 1, I didn't have to think about it during busy seasons of our life. And number 2, my kids are old enough. My boys are 14 and 11. They could follow the recipe and help me make dinner. Hallelujah. That is such a winning tip. Their habit hack for you right there is to get your kids to help make dinner, but also it's empowering them. We actually talked about this in the episode earlier in the week with Leah as well. It empowers them to learn how to cook for when they're young adults too. And one of my last tips was to focus on ingredient meals. I love to get on Pinterest or Instagram and look at these beautiful dishes people have created. They're so colorful and they look just so yummy, yummy, yummy. And then I pull up the website. Let me know if this has ever happened to you. And you're scrolling to find the recipe, and it's like 10 feet down on your phone to find the recipe. And there's 30 different ingredients and 50 different steps. You don't have any of those ingredients, or maybe you just have salt and pepper. And the recipe is going to take you 2 hours. And you're just like, I cannot, I mean, maybe there's a time and place. If you love to cook and you have the time, that's great. I like to cook sometimes, but personally, I'm a busy working mom and I need simple. So I teach a method called ingredient meal. So I've learned this over the years from other coaches. I've applied this through my own food freedom coaching that I do. And pretty much essentially what ingredient meals are is you do like a little mini meal prep. You're prepping maybe some chicken, you bake it in the oven on a Sunday. You meal prep some veggies, you put them in the air fryer to crisp them up the next day. You have rice ready to go. You have those awesome sauces and seasonings now that you went to the store to kind of sauce and spice things up. You have all these ingredients already ready. Take the rice, pile the protein on top of it, pile the veggies, put a yummy sauce, spice on it, maybe throw an avocado on it or an egg or whatever. Boom. It's a meal. It's a meal. That's so much easier versus having to follow a complicated long recipe if you don't have the time for that. And most of my audience, as I know, you probably listening, if you're a busy working mom like me, you don't have time. So I'll include in the comments below a link to a freebie that I have giving you 5 weeknight ingredient meals, like basic simple instructions. Listen, I'm not a cook. I don't measure anything. I just boom, boom, boom with my ingredient meals. But I also give you a shopping list too to make it a little bit easier. But go listen to today's habit hacking episode on self-transformed. It's from February 2nd, 2023 to learn about those 10 habit hacking tips to help you overcome food boredom. So make sure to tune in every week. I go live on Instagram and eventually TikTok, and the replays are available here on YouTube as well to give you a rundown what we talked about on the Self-Transform podcast. I know we're all busy, and I'm really proud of you for taking the time to watch this. And more so than anything, I want you to take action. So in summary, stop saying busy, create a new habit to stop saying busy and say, I'm just doing really well. I'm really excited for ABC. And number 2, find a tip that you heard today to help you lose that food boredom, make healthy choices for yourself in your food freedom journey. So you can listen to the Self-Transform podcast on any of your favorite streaming services. Come follow me on Instagram at Emily Nichols22. You already follow me here if you're watching live on IG. And make sure to tune in every week. Thanks for joining us. Bye. Okay. Reading your comments here real quick.